Hey everybody, it's David and Richard, and it's Friday. That means it's time for another Ask the Broker show. And on today's show, we're covering some of the most critical, most important steps of an escrow that, from a seasoned agent to a brand new agent, the things you need to be aware of in order a smoother transaction.
And closing it.
And getting it closed. So let's start right from the beginning. You got an escrow, a contract's been accepted.
Yay.
Hurdle number one, what do we need to be aware of?
Well, you know, you've worked hard to get here. Let's take care of business now that we're in escrow. You have the buyer or seller. This can go either way. The most important thing that is only allowed 3 days to get done is what? Getting that deposit into escrow.
That's true.
The more you get your buyer invested, and if it's a $5,000 deposit, that's pretty invested. So you want to see that get into escrow, get a receipt on it, and you can feel good about that one. David, what might be next after that?
Well, next is generally scheduling the inspections, getting the 3 or 4 major inspections that we tend to get on most homes in our area scheduled and paid for and done. So we want to get those things moving forward. Especially, obviously, if we're helping a buyer purchase the house. So inspections, congruently with that is what?
The appraisal.
The appraisal, yes.
Yeah. And you know, you have a certain time to get this stuff done, and lately that's been cut down, so you really want to get that done fast and to find out if we're going to have any major problems or with things needing to be done, or the appraisal maybe not even coming in at value, which sucks, but that does happen. So next, another one is disclosures.
Oh, yeah.
If you're on the listing side, you have to get them out typically within 7 days. And then when the buyer receives them, they have 5 days to look at them and get them signed and get them back. But take a good close look at them. There could be something in these disclosures that isn't good. You know, I mean, exaggerating, you know, house has, we have one right now that just fell out of escrow because the foundation has some serious liens. Yeah. And not liens money-wise, liens, they're leaning over. And the buyer went in and looked at it harder and brought somebody in, get it looked at. Sure enough, it was $20,000 and they walked away.
Oh, wow.
So there's a good example of getting someone in fast and taking a look at what could be problems and either getting them fixed, getting them addressed, or moving on.
Yeah, so these are all critical elements of a purchase contract and time frames that really matter. So I always suggest to agents they need a system in order to track your dates, track these time frames, because it's easy when you have one escrow going, you can pretty much stay on top of it. But as you get busier and busier and busier and you have multiple escrows going, you can easily lose track of time frames on different escrows. So.
Yeah, a little cheat sheet. You know, the big one is most people get day 1 wrong of an escrow. If you get day 1 wrong, then day 10, then day 3, and day 17 are all wrong too.
That's right.
So day 1 is always the day after you've got a fully executed contract. Remember that. I just had an agent call me and say, we signed it on the 13th and day 10 is the 23rd. It's like, no, it's not. It's the 24th. Because day 1 was the 14th, not the 13th. So just write it down somewhere, a little cheat. Day 1 is here. Then all the rest is easy to follow because you can just count the days from there on. But if you've got day 1 wrong, everything's wrong.
It'll throw it all off, won't it?
That's right. And I guess one more, David. At the end, what's the thing you're finally looking for as buyer and seller? Loan approval.
That's
Yay.
The final loan approval.
Yeah, let's get those loan docs in, get them signed. Then you start feeling pretty good, and the buyer brings all the rest of his money in. You can start, I'm not going to say celebrating, but you can start feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, the most critical time period of the escrow really is the first 2 weeks. You know, that's when a lot of it happens from a realtor standpoint. Maybe a little bit of negotiating, things after that point, but the first 2 weeks, a lot goes on, and you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, now one more thing, just real quick on that. The Bay Area is really bringing in having the inspections done up front and having disclosures already on MLS to view.
Yeah.
That's maybe And I think pretty much I would feel sure about that's coming to us and we're going to be doing it too. So keep that in mind. That might eliminate some of these days that you would have to worry about because they were all done right at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching our Ask the Broker show this week. Hopefully you got one or two good points out of it. That's why we do them. And we'll see you next Friday as they come out each and every week. We'll see you then.